All right, if you're here, there's a chance you're a little bit worried that robots are coming to take your jobs. I'm here to tell you to calm down. It's not happening today. But I'm also not here to sugarcoat things and tell you that you don't need to be diligent and you can ignore this whole thing, because it's going to be up to us as actors to make sure that we stay ahead of the curve and not do what many professions do and ignore innovation until it's too late. And if you watch to the end of the video, I've got a present waiting for you, so hang on for that. Let me start out with a secret for you. I spent some time behind the curtain at an AI voice generation company. We talked at length about what they could do and what they couldn't. And I got a chance to hear all kinds of samples and see inside the technology. Mind you, this is a leading technology company that has been looking into this sort of stuff for years, not some random crypto bro who suddenly discovered what AI was yesterday. These folks are calling everything AI that's done by a computer, and it's been kind of ridiculous to see people talk about it like it's this magic pill that will do everything for us. Let's get one thing straight first. If it doesn't teach itself, it's not an intelligence, just a computer program. So an AI voice is not the same as a synthetic voice. There really aren't any AI voices. What most people are talking about are synthetic voices. They are static interpretations of voice that need extensive teaching by a human on the other end in order to elicit the performance that they're looking for. In the models that I've seen, even a few sentences can sometimes take hours of manipulation within the engine in order to get a performance that's even remotely real. And even then, you're still operating well within the uncanny valley most of the time, which is the term to describe what you feel when you're just not quite convinced that something is real, but can't quite explain why. That's the real value proposition here. If it's gonna take an engineer so much time to manipulate the voice to get something that doesn't sound like a robot, what's the point of hiring a robot instead of a human? Remember that time is money, and although something on paper may be cheaper to do with a synthetic voice, it's still gonna cost hours of people's lives to do it, for which they are going to get paid. I'll tell you another thing. Clients who are making quality products are not looking for robotic or synthetic voices. In many ways, they're as against it as everyone else. Clients have been asking me for videos with my auditions to make sure they're not hiring robots. Clients have specifically been telling me that they tried using robots and the experience was so terrible that they hired me, because I can get it done quicker and better because I'm a professional and a human who can respond to direction live. In some cases, clients who deal with national security or bigger end users have been cutting talent from their roster who have modeled their voice using a synthetic engine, because it becomes a security concern if your voice can be made to say anything that someone else wants you to say without actually hiring you to do it. This goes for political voiceover as well. You have to remember that we're still in the infancy for a lot of these things, and there's major legal issues to cover before we even get to the point where they're widely proliferated enough to threaten our industry. It's been the same way with AI art. Copyright infringement is a serious problem that comes with this, and it's not one that's going to be easily or quickly solved. Using someone's likeness without their permission, especially for advertising purposes, is illegal. So anything that uses your voice in order to aggregate and simulate it is technically using your likeness without your permission, and will eventually have to be taken care of from a legal standpoint. The issue we're running into here is companies who are surreptitiously stealing voices from their clients. What I mean by that is that companies will put clauses into their contracts that give the company the explicit permission to use that person's voice in a simulated way. Since actors aren't really well known for reading their contracts, this creates a problem. They're signing away their voices without knowing it. We can prevent this by being good business people and being explicit that we are never giving a company permission to use our voice in a simulated way. Organizations like NAVA and SAG-AFTRA are right now in the middle of taking steps to make sure this doesn't happen. You, as a voice actor, can do your part by making sure you either read your paperwork thoroughly, or you can add additional paperwork that specifies to a client that you are not giving them permission to simulate your voice. So, with a little bit of due diligence, we can go a long way in making sure the advent of simulated voices is done in a way that benefits artists instead of exploits them. For now, we have to understand that the technology does not produce the same result as the human voice. It just doesn't. It's not there yet, despite what the tech demos are trying to show you. Clients are looking for quality voice acting work and are not going to be using simulated voices to achieve it. I use the analogy of the music industry a lot. If you're not familiar, back in the early, let's say late 90s, 2000s, sample libraries were being created that simulated live musicians' ability to play things. They would record instruments and then you could play them back using the instrument that wasn't even there. Some of them were really good. Some of them are really good. But the people that were ultimately going to use those libraries were the people that already weren't going to be hiring orchestras because they couldn't afford or didn't want to do it in the first place. They might have replaced a small portion of orchestra work, but live musicians were still able to deliver a better sound and a better performance than simulated musicians. It's still the case today, even though we're almost 30 years into musician sample library creation using similar technology as voice simulation. So chances are, if you're one of my students, the clients that are going to be using simulated voices are not the clients that we're going to hire you anyway, since I teach so much about finding high-quality clients and not scraping the bottom of the barrel. I hope I've somewhat demystified this for you and made it a little bit less scary. We need to remember, and I teach this so much in my course, that we're not only artists, but we're business people, and we need to understand business practices and outcomes just as much as we understand the art of delivering a good performance. Being smart about technology as well as our contracts is how we're going to make sure that the best solution for our clients is going to be our natural voices and not some kind of weird simulation of them. And I know you're a smart one because you listened all the way to the end of this video, which is why I'm going to give you an extra bonus for making it here and taking the time to be smart about your business as well as your voice. So I'm going to give you a 10% discount on the most comprehensive voice acting course on the planet. In this course, I teach a lot about business, as well as how to navigate your contracts, negotiate your rates, find your wheelhouse voice, and many other things across 130 lessons and 30 hours of content, in addition to a lot of interviews that I do with industry professionals. If you go to the checkout page below this video and enter the code SIMULATETHIS, you'll get 10% off, as well as access to our private Facebook group and live monthly trainings with me. Thank you so much for listening and trusting me to help you turn your voice into your vocation, and I'll see you next time.